show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? You guys are going to criticize whatever you want to criticize?
You calling me a coward? Young man, I've done things that would make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Thank you, Mazatlan. Thank you, Oslo. Thank you, Tokyo. Thank you, Havana. Thank you, Cairo. Thank you, Moscow. Thank you, Stockholm. Thank you, Transylvania. Thank you, Walla Walla.
Very funny. Very funny. Yo, what up, Tennessee?
He can stick it up your butt.
It was a nice run.
You know how reporters and columnists are? They want the controversy. They want the negativity.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about... Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north.
Yes.
This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Back Akadax, you and yours. It's going to be, I get the feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can let me know. You seem to... Would you like more verbal slaps on the back for what you do for the Grum or not? Because I don't offer them up very often, if at all. I've probably given you a verbal slap on the back in the, 25 years we worked together, maybe 6-7 times. Would you? I just don't.
It's not a common occurrence.
Well, because I just don't. I feel like, and maybe, see, I don't need a verbal slap on the back. I need more zeros on the paycheck. And that's why I just think for me to go, hey, thanks a lot for all you do. And you're just going, well, yeah, great, but show me the money. Because like the montage, at the beginning of the program, when you mash the button bar, that's all. I once in a great while throw in a
Huh?
or a
quack quack
or a but for the most part it's all you, and you do a trip like mashing all the hello, no, thank you,
Oslo.
Yeah, you did, and you didn't just stop at one or two, you just hammered it, and it was so good because we did those years ago because temporary layoff to permanent payoff back in the day would have these cheesy, they were thanking all the markets we were in. Thank you, Mankato. Thank you, St. Cloud, for listening to us. We really appreciate it. So then, me being the Richard that I am in the wet blanket, I said, well, you can listen to us anywhere in the world.
Yes.
So then why don't we thank the people listening in Guadalajara and the people listening in Transylvania? And the people listening in Moscow. They could be listening there.
Somebody in Moscow is listening.
That's it.
Send us a text if you're listening from Moscow.
Yes, if you're listening from Moscow, send us a text. And so we wanted to thank everybody else. And so that was just wonderful. That pumped me up because you've thrown a few of those in, but you haven't mashed it like that in a long time.
Thank you, Frankfurt. Thank you, Warsaw.
Yeah.
Thank you, New Delhi. Thank you, Timbuktu.
Do you think Big Voice Guy, when he would get Big Voice Guy, he is a multimillionaire, He lives in Florida. He has a place that overlooks the Gulf of America. And thank you, Gulf of America. Thank you, Gulf of America. A lot of people are thanking the Gulf of America for being the Gulf of America. And I'm sure
do people still call it that? No, I feel like that kind of passed.
Yeah, I think it sort of did.
Or just maybe we're not talking about it enough anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I don't think we're calling it the Trump Kennedy Center anymore either. Anyway, what were we talking about?
All the thank yous.
Oh, Big Voice Guy. Can you imagine when he would get the emails from the new, he got that one from the Noon to 3 show. Yeah, we need you to do thank yous, and we had a list of like 50 cities, and he's going, what the hell are they doing there? So
I always love that one.
Speaking of zeros, he's got plenty of them behind. So he just goes, okay, I've got a big voice. They love it when I say stuff, so I'll just go, thank you.
He brought the energy to him.
Oh, he did. He never quit.
He nailed them.
Remember when Tice did it for us?
I was just going to say, that's what it reminds me. Well, that was before my time.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of that.
Well, that's because Davy Joe Simser, he had the wrong microphone on.
Chicago's a tough guy town.
And so he said that during the game. So then we asked him, we said, when you come in because he used to do a coach's show with Barrero. Like a half hour, an hour on Wednesday nights.
So it's must listen radio.
Oh, and we said, would you do us a favor? Could you go in the studio, the score studio, that now the production studio right across from me, I can see in there right now, PA, and you and I never meet after the show in the production room.
No.
As soon as 3 o'clock comes, you're down the stairs, I'm down the elevator, and we're gone.
We've had enough.
What are they doing in there right now?
You and I put up the white flag at 2:55.
Yeah. Are they like planning tomorrow's show already? You just got off the air. That's why he's a national treasure.
Well, you got to book all the guests.
Yeah.
You got to coordinate times.
Nora's got to write all the questions for the guests. You know what it is? That's why he's a national treasure, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So we got Tice to do. Would you say Detroit? We had him do every NFL city, and he did.
It's a tough guy town.
But then what happened was Davy Joe Simser had the wrong mic. There's 2 of them in that studio, so they were all off mic. So they just didn't. They didn't
like Seattle is a tough guy town.
Right, and so it just didn't work, and that's regrets. I have too few to mention. That's one of mine, because Davy Joe did a great job too. I never verbally slapped him on the back. I don't know if I ever verbally slapped him on the back, or Ethan the Eel McIntosh, though they both did really good jobs. There's so much to get to today. Oh, God. World Cup continues. I'm really starting to get caught up in the World Cup frenzy. Not really, but NBA and NHL, the reverberations. The echoes of the last 2 games are continuing to. It's reverberating around the. Not really. Quarterback controversy continues. Not really. Twins. I don't know if they played last night or not. But with all those topics to get to, let's spin the wheel of topic. We need a hydration break. That's what we need.
Commons golf game.
Oh.
What did you shoot today?
At 84.
Where'd we play?
The Royal Club, the King and the Queen.
Where'd you hit it on? 1?
I just hit a perfect drive, as good as dead into the wind with driving rain. It was so good.
How far from the green were you?
I still hit a long way. I hit a 4-wood.
Second shot?
I kind of hit a little bit of a hook.
Right or left?
Left.
Then what?
Hit a nice wedge, just not hard enough. Got it on the green, but I made the putt. And I made a par. Then I made a triple on the very next hole. I hooked a 7-wood into the junk. But I hung in there. I battled. I went par, triple, par, bogey, par, triple. I tripled the 2 par 5s. But I got to 10, and I blocked my drive right, hanging on to the club. And that's where I made a big decision. I'm going to try to nullify my life, because when the blood begins to flow, when it shoots up the dropper's neck, when I'm closing in on death, you can't help me, not you guys. Or all you sweet girls with all your sweet talk, you can all go take a walk, and I guess I just don't know, and I guess I just don't know. And what I said to myself is, I'm tired of feeling sorry for myself, and I'm tired of my whining. I used to be a better player than this. I used to hit my driver straight up the fairway all the time. I used to hit my irons really good. I was a great short game player. I used to get up and down all the time. Never three-putted ever. What's wrong with that game? I'm not any good anymore. I said, I'm tired of whining, and I'm sure you're tired of whining. The people that play with me are tired of my whining. I'm just tired of being a terrible player. So I just started, I took B-Flow's approach to golf that he has to defense. I was aggressive without being reckless, and I just started rearing back and just letting her fly. And every shot wasn't perfect, but I started getting a little length back, and I started hitting the ball in the middle of the fairway. I started hitting some greens, and I didn't care where the ball went as long as it was, if I'm going to hit it in the rubbish, I'm going to hit it a long way into the rubbish. And I think I may have turned it around. Now, I know the 84 isn't much, went 43, 41. But I've made a big decision in my life, and I'm done. I'm done feeling sorry for myself, and I'm going to start going after it, Tenby. That's what I'm going to start doing. And I think you'll be proud of me. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping for a verbal slap on the back from you for making that big decision in my life. I guess none's coming. That's okay, too. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We're going to do Peek at the Purple. That's on the other side of the break. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us about 2 o'clock. That and so much more here on the God of That program on the Fan.
The Common Man.
Celebrate America's 250th with KFAN and $250,000 in cash. Each weekday through July 3rd, you could win your share with $2,500 toward your dream getaway. Listen for the keyword, enter to KFAN.com at 8 a.m. and hit the road America style.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 of B. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. Couple of things. If you're getting ready to sell your home, do not let electrical issues slow down your closing. Outdated panels, some faulty outlets, or inspection repairs can delay a sale. Affordable Electric provides pre-listing electrical evaluations and fast code-compliant repairs to help you pass inspection with confidence. And they also offer a $49 early bird electrical evaluation with a 7 to 11 a.m. arrival window Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Just some of the many things they're offering at Affordable Electric. Check in with them today. You can reach them 612-331-VOLT, 612-331-VOLT, or online at affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. They're shockingly affordable. Ben Gessling is the Vikings beat writer for the Fish Wrap Factory West Side. He had a tweet today that says the hashtag Vikings are hiring former Bears general manager Ryan Pace. Oh my gosh. As a football advisor for new GM Nolan Teasley, and they're adding Seahawks scout Azam Kapadia. If that's how you pronounce it, I'll wait for Rosen. He's a pronunciation expert. He likes to. Rosie likes to. As a matter of fact, just for the tend to be how you say data and I say data. Sometimes he says DiVincenzo and sometimes he says DiVincenzo. Just how the mood strikes him, right? So this the Seahawks scout is now the director of pro scouting. It sounds like a good hire. Pace lost 10 games 5 times while he was with the Bears. That's the kind of guy I want on my staff. What Tennessee, he lost 10 games 5 times while general manager of the Chicago Bears.
You've got to be kidding me.
That's the guy we want over at the new Winter Park TCO Performance Center. Okay. And does Teasley really need a former general manager? What is it, like somebody to hold his hand? I thought he was the guy. Why does he need an advisor? What's he going to advise him on? How to lose 10 games in 5 different times? I That doesn't make much sense to me. But that's the guy, and maybe it'll all work out. I'm sure. I was spending a little time talking. I was over at Mauer Chev yesterday, and Jake Mauer, he managed and played, and we talked a lot about sports. Sports, your whole life, just sports. Talked about the Twins and his brother and baseball in general and all the other sports. It's just fun to pick somebody's brain that actually has been between the lines. But he agreed with me that, which is rare, but he agreed with me in again, it's not like, I don't think anybody goes, wow, that's really deep. How did you come up with that? But it's like, if you get to be a general manager, coach, or whatever in one of the four, in any professional sport, you're probably pretty good at it. You understand it, right? Then there's a pecking order after that. All 32 guys in the National Football League know how to coach. They know X's and O's. Some are better than others. And you would make that pecking order, whoever you think is the number one. Some people will put Andy Reid on the top. Other people might put Andy Reid on the top. I can't name, maybe you put the guy for the Rams up there. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can approach it. So I'm sure the Ryan Pace knows how to general manage, but I don't know which. But that's kind of the biggest news coming out of the new Winter Park. And then Chris Eggert at KSTP said getting word of U.S. Bank Stadium needed a major roof repair due to a hailstorm in 2023. Then he said, he says, this is an issue I exposed 11 years ago in an investigation that took us to Germany.
Huh?
I don't know how.
Huh?
Got to go to Germany and investigate. What a great way to get a free vacation to Europe. Will be interesting to see how much repairs cost and who will pay for it.
Right.
Hail damage.
I'd call Miller Roofing and Siding if I were them.
Well, yeah, and I would call All Elements.
Yeah.
So either one, maybe the two of them could do a joint project together.
Yeah.
Because they both know what they're doing. Someone then added, one of Chris's followers added my favorite picture of all time. Well, I take that back. My favorite picture of all time is that famous photograph of Mark Rosen when he was at 11 years old. He was at the World Series. It's a famous photograph. Just ask Mark. Is the one of the groundbreaking of the U.S. Bank Stadium. And Ziggy Wilf is taking a shovel full of dirt and throwing it, after digging it in. And he's got the biggest smile ear to ear because he realizes.
It's like a maniacal smile.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
He's hit the mother lode. Meanwhile, Mark Dayton, the governor at the time, his shovel, as he's throwing it, it's turned sideways on him because he's never held a shovel in his hand ever. A silver spoon, yes, but not a shovel, right? And he's got this perplexed look on his face, and almost as the kind of look I think you do when it hits 12:15 on the 10 of Fitzgerald. Mayday, Mayday, SOS. They're just side by side, and it's such a great photograph because it's just two. It's the one guy that's going to make a haul on it, and then the other guy that has never. And again, God bless Mark Dayton, right? I mean, if I was born into money, trust me, I wouldn't apologize for
No.
it. I would have been delighted to have been born into money. But he's just never had a reason to take a spade and put it into the ground and dig up any earth, I'm assuming. Because you can tell he doesn't know how to operate a shovel. But there you go. So I did not know that they had hail damage on there. And is the ceiling all glass? I know we have the glass panels. Is the whole, because I've never really just stared at the ceiling of the U.S. Bank Stadium, but it sounds like there's some trouble. I wonder are there cracks.
I don't know if stadiums are any different than houses, but it should be insured, correct? Shouldn't insurance be paying for this?
I would think so. That's I
have to imagine it's very expensive.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. You think your house would be covered. Did I tell you this? That I had to buy a new outdoor patio set because I kept my umbrella up last year during a hailstorm and it just got peppered and there's holes all over it. And my umbrella policy with my insurance company didn't cover it. More Amsterdam.
I was going to say, when you said that joke, I shook my head in disgust, but I'm actually proud of you because I haven't heard that joke before.
Yeah.
It was a new one, so it's a more I should be applauding the effort.
Well, it actually really is. It is a clever joke. I mean, it's not going to replace, Excuse Me by Steve Martin. Won't be that legendary. But I still like it. It's
no Target meat sauce
No,
you bet,
no.
you know.
He says, you ever go to Target to get a pair of athletic socks and come home with Home Alone 2 on Blu-ray DVD? And then he changed it. He said Home Alone 3. Because I told him, you got to change up your act a little bit. So he changed from Home Alone 2 to Home Alone 3. So there you go.
How long is it going to take them to replace that roof?
I don't know.
It seems like a challenging job. It's not like my house where you just throw a ladder up there and you get up there and...
Didn't Parliament Psychedelic do a song, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker? Isn't there a song called Tear the Roof Off the Sucker? Because they should just tear the roof off of it and make it an open-air stadium. Football should be open-air. Now, again, as a fan going to the game, I mean, they're in December, there's nothing better than going in an Toasty Stadium. But, football's kind of be made to play outdoors. But, I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. Yeah, I don't know what it'll cost and what is actually wrong with them. But you're right, that should be covered by an insurance company because, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Liberty, 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 liberty. Do we have any other insurance jingles that we could do? Let's take a break. We need one. I need a hydration break, just like they do in soccer. I'm going to go make a cup of coffee, though. I think coffee actually dehydrates you, but that's all right too. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. We'll break. We'll come back. More controversial Vikings news and so many other goodies to get to here on the Coming Back program on the Fan.
Marty Dillner and
KFAN welcomes some great shows at Grand Casino Arena in the next year, including Lionel Richie.
I'm just sitting here watching Scotty grow.
With Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I think I love you, so what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not sure of. A love there is no cure for.
That's on June 24th. And The Smashing Pumpkins.
Get on the bus, Gus. Don't try to discuss much. Get off the key, Lee, and set yourself free.
On October 13th, tickets are on sale now. Get the complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com. Keep your calendar.
Sorry about that. Esteemed columnist Jim Sue, and I refer to him a lot. I love his work. He's got his fingers on the pulse of sports. Your whole life, just sports. He wrote a piece today. What lessons can the Timberwolves learn from the Knicks? And there are plenty of them. And he lists, it's not always about the coach. You need a closer. Don't worry about stars. Geography helps. Don't sweat regular season. Cohesiveness is a key. Blah, blah, blah. She's got 6 keys. And I agree. I tend to agree with most of those. Actually, all of them. I will nitpick just a little bit, though, in that you can, I mean, the one thing is every team is unique. And so the way the Knicks did it, I don't know if that can be replicated because as he writes in here, and that most of us saw, you had Jalen Brunson's a superstar, but he doesn't have, if you lined him up with, most superstar basketball players, he's 6'2", and the rest are all 6'6" or more, right? He doesn't really look the part, and yet he finds a way. He plays with a tenacity that is really pretty much unmatched. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. I would imagine basketball is one of those sports where it tend to be height helps a lot. You can play a lot of other sports. You don't have to be very tall. You don't have to be very big. Basketball, it's like the taller you are, I think. The bigger you are, the harder they fall, or the taller you are, the more tall, the more you fall. But I do think you play with a bit of a chip on your shoulder because, you're too small. Wasn't it? Is it Becky Hammon? Is that her name? Wasn't she?
WNBA.
Right. And apparently she was an analyst for a while. And they brought this up in several stories when she was analyzing one of their games. She said, well, they'll never win the whole thing because they don't have an A player. They don't have an A superstar. And then who's the Perkins, the really big guy, a former player that's always on the
Kendrick?
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins. He said, well, they have one in Brunson. She goes, no, he's not big enough. And then she doubled down on it. She says, well, maybe I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just don't think you can do it with a guy like that. And lo and behold, they did do it. Now he did have a lot of help, and they don't have all superstars. I mean, the closest thing to another superstar on the team would probably be Bodega Cat. And then there are others that might be superstars in the making. You'd have 3 guys that all played together at Villanova, which doesn't hurt. I never understood the DiVincenzo commercial when they threw him the hat and they put it on his head. I didn't realize that 4 of them all played, and DiVincenzo played. I knew they all played together, but I just didn't get the anyways. But here's the one thing where this is their problem. It says, don't worry about stars. It says, what the Knicks taught us by winning with this roster is that basketball remains an intricate game, team game that rewards cohesiveness, intelligence, mental and physical toughness, coaching, and situational awareness. Yes, you need talent, but talent alone won't take you far, and I get that. But the other thing is you also need a team, here's what he left out, a team that's not moody. Because we were moody, and you know why we were moody, apparently? Because this isn't me guessing. This isn't me, predicting something like Chris Eggert did, that there would be hail damage on the roof of a U.S. Bank Stadium. That's why he went to Germany to investigate. I still don't get that, but maybe he can explain it to us. They said, well, yeah, it was one or two of the players. I don't remember which player was. Well, yeah, we get a little moody, It's like, we're not getting our touches or getting our points. And you've heard me recant the tale over and over again. You go to any NBA locker room, you could be doing a one-on-one, or it can be a media scrum, and as soon as a statistics guy comes by with a stat sheet and they hand one to each player, they stop whatever they're doing or saying and stare at the stat sheet to see how they did that night. How many points did I get? How many assists did I get? How many rebounds did I get? How many steals did I get? My guess is they overlooked the turnovers. But it's like that's kind of the makeup of the Wolves, and I don't think you have that on the Knickerbockers. And the guy that's probably the most unselfish would be Big Meow. I mean, he does whatever the team requires him to do, and that's why I think he's integral, the word, part of the basketball team. And so I think the Wolves need those kinds of players. And then it talked about he also mentions in here, and he's not the only one. This is true. It's always been sort of thought of that, well, in order to have a championship caliber team, you have to have at least 2, if not 3 big stars. Because a lot of teams, that was the formula, right? You have 3 stars. Look what they did in Golden State. They had the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green. They also had others, but you had 3 main guys. We could probably sit here and talk about NBA champions for the last 10, 15, 6, 7, 13, 14 years, and it seems like they almost all had 2, if not 3 guys, right? And if you look at the New York Knickerbockers, you could make the argument, well, they only really have 1, and he didn't really become, I don't think, I'm not paying as close attention to the NBA as I once did, and certainly not the New York Knickerbockers. I know Brunson's always been a good player. I've watched him play before. That's why 3 or 4 weeks ago I said he's one of my favorite players, because I do like, he's winning one for the little guy, right? He's kind of an underdog. He is. Who is the team that just tied Spain in
Cape Verde?
He is the Cape Verde of basketball, right? Nothing was expected from him. He's 6'2". He's just a little short guy, right? If he wasn't playing basketball, he'd be in the carnival. He'd be the guy. You remember, in this circus where they have like about 13, 14 clowns come out of a little tiny car? You know what the trick to that is, Tenneby? Spoiler alert. The car at the circus pulls over where there's a trap door right beneath it, and then they all climb up a ladder and then exit the car. And it looks like there's 400 people in that Volkswagen. No, there's not. It's a little trap door. It's a little secret. I thought it was. Where they saw the woman in half? The same thing. She's got her legs curled way up like this, and so she's like this. So she doesn't have her legs extended, so when they saw her in
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Now, if you can ever tell me how he pulls a rabbit out of a hat, that's the one I want to get to the bottom of, the rabbit out of the hat thing.
I like the one where they just keep pulling the ribbons out of the sleeves. Right. Just endless.
It's I think they're handkerchiefs. Now,
yeah, you're right.
There's another one. Do you call it handkerchief or handkerchief?
I'm a handkerchief guy.
I'm a handkerchief guy. And I got a hankering for the English language.
I thought you were going to say 3 o'clock.
I do have a hankering for 3 o'clock. I can't wait to get there. God, we're only at 12:41. Boy, and I pretty much extended everything. How we got on Circus Clowns, I don't know, in the little bit miniature Volkswagen, but we did. But so I like the Knickerbockers, and I like the makeup. But again, is that the Is that the formula that you want to follow, and is that the one that the Wolves can follow? I mean, they have their Brunson in Ant, and he's probably because isn't Ant goes 6'5", 6'6", doesn't he? He's bigger, and he's real. I mean, he's just starting to scratch the surface, I think, of how good he can possibly be. I think he can get better. I don't think he's hit a ceiling. Maybe he has. And then the pieces around him, I think Randall and Gobert are done so, right? I mean, I still think Gobert can serve a purpose, but I think that purpose is as a trade piece, right? And Randall I don't know what. I'll be honest, I'd never heard of the guy until he was traded here. Now I know why, because he's okay. He's an NBA player. He wouldn't be here if he wasn't. And who knows, had DiVincenzo stayed healthy, we'll never know, right? He blows out what did he blow out? His Achilles?
Yeah, which is
that's a year
not a great injury.
Yeah, and so, I mean, had he not blown out his Achilles, would the Wolves have won the NBA title? I don't think so, but they certainly would have been they would have been better equipped to get out of that semifinal round and get to the finals. But, then you got, is McDaniels and Naz Reid and Ant, is that your troika? And then you build around that? Can you? Is that enough? I don't know. I don't know. But I do know when you have players that apparently they get moody and they're worried about their own, that's your biggest problem. Those are the people that you have to try to either change their approach or change their attitude. You have to find guys that are willing to be pieces, right? You've heard me do this story so many times. Every guy that plays in the NBA was the leading scorer in his in-house league, his travel league, his high school league, his AAU league, in most cases college, because that's what they relied on. But then when you get to the NBA, well, everybody scores a lot. And it's like they look at you and go, you can score, but you'll score more in the European League than you will in the NBA. This is the best league in the world. You're not one of the best scorers anymore. Now, we need you to play defense. We need you to rebound. We need you to be an assist guy. You're going to be a piece to the puzzle. You're not going to be the guy. And I think some of those guys have trouble adjusting to that. Here's what Maurer told me yesterday. This was about baseball. He said, because baseball is different than the other sports, but first you try to prove that you belong and make the team, right? Then you try to get your money. Then you try to worry about a world championship. He says that's kind of the mindset. And I tend to agree with that, don't you, Teneby? The first thing you want to do is, especially because baseball has a minor leagues. The NBA really doesn't. I mean, they have that G League, but that's really not a minor.
College basketball is their minor leagues.
Right. And the NFL, college football is their minor leagues. But, once you get there, you're there. You're just like, well, we're going to send you back down and see how it goes for you down in, Schenectady, the Wasika Walruses. You're going to go back to and play with Wasika, the AA team, and get your like they did.
If there was a Wasika Walrus, I would buy their hat.
I would too.
Yeah.
Like they did with Royce Lewis. Royce, why don't you go to St. Paul for a while and see if you can get your swing back, get your confidence back. And so, but that's what you do is you try to prove you can. And then guess, and you can make it after all. And you make it after all. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So then it's like, now I got to play well enough so I get the contract, right? So I signed that $100 million contract, which really, I tell this to people all the time, it's more like $60 million after taxes. And then, I got to be honest with you. I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to spend, I'm going to save, invest, use, flaunt.
I always love that one.
By the end of the day, it's $6 million a year. Can you make that last? So then you get to where, then you want to win the ship, right? Then you want to win the ship. And so sometimes it takes players a while to understand that. And I don't know, hopefully that's the makeup of the team you have to be. You are part of the solution. You might only be an 8 to 10 minute a guy, but you're in the show, dude. You're playing. And we need you to do this. We can't worry about you pouting and being moody because, I only got 8 points tonight. That's like me. I don't hit the ball as far as I used to. I don't get up and down as often as I used to. I'm just not as good a player as I once was. Why am I terrible? I can't hit the ball straight. Well, stop feeling sorry for yourself and just pinch yourself when you get up in the morning and say, I'm playing in the show and I make a good living. I don't need to be the star anymore. I was the star at AAU. I was a star for the Waseca Walrus. I'm not anymore. And that's what you need. That's what you need. I think it's the mentality of the player. And I think those Knickerbockers must have had that. Plus, you need a team that wants to play defense. My guess is here's the other thing. And maybe the Knickerbockers didn't play defense.
Well, to play defense, you got to have that mentality.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It also, and we talked about this yesterday. Suhan brings it up in his piece, and we talked about it yesterday, and this has been a subject, it's been a sore spot with me forever. It does become all you do worry about is postseason play. So you treat many of the regular season games as, well, this just is pickup basketball. And if you get, here's another example. Do you remember when in the clinching game when it was a 30-point lead, Ant went over and congratulated all the members of the Spurs? Hey, congratulations. Good for you. What did the Knickerbockers do when they got down by 30? They dug deep and came back and won. Now,
they had more time to do it,
but NBA finals and semifinals, I know it's a different thing, but it's like they just.
Well, it's really not when Ants was a game 7. That's an elimination game,
right? So it's you dig down deep, and apparently we don't always do that. So. And so, anyways, so those regular season games, that's why and I know people, I'm even tired of talking about it. But this should get us to close to 1 o'clock. The idea that if you go to see a game in January, you're going, well, I wonder what kind of effort I'm going to get tonight. I'm seeing, we're seeing the Knickerbockers tonight. I wonder if Brunson's going to be on load management tonight. He doesn't seem like a load management guy, but you know what I'm saying, though? I wonder if he's going to be on load management. So you go see a team and you go, oh, I wonder if Harden's going to be on load management and if he's even going to play tonight. And that's like, well, what kind of effort am I going to get from the team tonight? If they get behind early, they're just going to go, oh, this is the third game in 6 days and we've been on a 1 week road trip and I'm just not interested. I just know they have a great restaurant at the hotel we're staying at. Me and the boys afterwards, we're going to get a bite to eat and have a couple of bottles of wine and then go back up to the room and play a little Minecraft. And then we're going to get on the plane and we're going to fly back home and we get a couple of days off. So why even bother playing this? We're not going to win this game anyways. It's over. We're down 15 late in the third quarter. We'll just give it a say. That's giving the ticket buying public what they paid for, ain't it? But, buyer beware. You know this ahead of time. But so all those things, I don't know if the Wolves have that psychological makeup that apparently the Knickerbockers did. And I don't know if it's the coach that does that, if he's the one. I don't think so at this point because I think Finch does a nice job, I think. But if you'll remember what Ant said, we don't listen to what the coaches want us to do. We just start doing whatever we want to do. And is that the message isn't resonating anymore? Do they not that they dislike Finch as a person, but maybe they just don't like his coaching style or his system, or they just don't think it's working, or they're looking for a fall guy. Well, we'd be better if we had a coach that had a better system or got the message across to us better. But Ant basically took all the blame. He blamed the players. He said, we just don't listen to the coaches all the time. We should be listening to them. We don't. And we just start playing playground basketball. That's why. The Wolves just seem, from what I saw from San Antonio, from what I see from OKC, and certainly with the Knickerbockers, they just seem like they're worlds apart from those three teams to me. And I don't know where, because I don't know with this group as it's like you said about the Wild. You think the Wild, if they made no changes, would still be a team that would be in the mix to not only make the playoffs, but actually be a Stanley Cup contender, and I'll take your word for it. I don't know if right now I look at the Wolves, I saw some, they always do this. It's the list radio is what to me.
That's lazy radio.
Yeah, and I love lazy radio. There was a list that, I think it was another one of the CBS Sports ones, the too soon NBA power rankings here. They barely finished hoisting the trophy, and all of a sudden some rube reporter is putting together a power rankings. They had the Wolves at 8 in that power ranking, at 8. All across the league.
Well, they've been a pretty mediocre in the regular season team, and then they do well in the playoffs. And I think we do need to recognize Anthony Edwards was hurt during the postseason, especially in that Spurs series. So who knows if you have 100% Anthony Edwards. I still going against Wemby, I don't think it would have mattered. But, your best player, your star player was not right. He couldn't even, he couldn't jump. He wasn't athletic. So I don't think the Wolves are as far as apart as maybe far away as people think they are. I don't think they're much different than the New York Knicks, frankly. The Knicks just put it all together for a postseason.
Oh my gosh, New York. Above average at that.
I don't know if their pieces are that much different than our pieces. OKC is going to start running into some contract stuff now. They had all those guys on those rookie contracts. Now we're going to start seeing if their owner is going to be willing to pay up once they hit the second apron, because they're going to start hitting the second apron. So they're not going to have the same team that they've had in the past. I think the Wolves are, in decent shape still.
Common Brunson signed with the Knicks for over $100 million less than he could have gotten on purpose. That's the only reason the expensive lineup exists. It's not a fair comparison. Players very, very rarely do such a thing. Well, maybe they ought to start thinking about that.
He went Tom Brady on it and paid off for him.
Yeah.
And paid off for that team.
So then more power to him.
Yep.
Maybe somebody else should start thinking that way. Maybe other players should. I mean, you and I have had this discussion before too. Once if you sign, let's bring it closer to home. Byron Buxton took what is considered, and I got air quotes here, hometown discount, $100 million over like 10 years. He could have gotten more than that on the open market. Right now, he's third in the league in home runs. Is he third in all of MLB?
Yes, he's one back.
Yeah. He could have gotten more money. There wouldn't be Boston, New York, any of those major markets and Mets. They had to give him Dodgers would have given him a boatload of money, right? He took less to stay here for the hometown team. So players will occasionally do that. They'll take less money, and of course the Twins took the money and just put it in the bank. They didn't
reinvest it.
They didn't reinvest it in players like the New York Knickerbockers did. But this one says, I think Cat has matured and maybe our players can follow suit. And I do think that's what happened. Someone said, well, what about what Jimmy Buckets when he called out Towns? I think that helped start changing Towns' approach to basketball. I think he got tougher. He was considered soft. I always hate to call players soft. I mean, it's a grind. The NBA is a physical game. Football, hockey, it is a grind. And they're manly sports, So anyway, we'll see. You could be right, Tennessee. We might be building this thing together, standing strong forever. I have one other question for you. Not only can you make it last, but do you like parades? And you do, right?
I love parades.
Yeah, I think we do too, so we'd like to see a couple. Let's do this. Let's pause, return, and do 5, 3, 4. You got a tease?
Who will come and watch like a hawk at Shinnecock?
The Common Man.